Welcome to Story Voyage. Today, we're diving into a jaw-dropping story of betrayal, heartbreak, and ruthless revenge. If you love gripping, real-life stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Now, sit back and let's get into it. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I always prided myself on being a decent husband. I worked hard, paid the bills, and made time for my wife, Emily. Despite my demanding schedule, she was my world, and I thought I was hers. Turns out I was just another piece on her chessboard. Emily worked in marketing for a big-name corporation. Her boss, Ryan, was charming, successful, and according to her, just a colleague. I'd met him a few times at company events, and while he seemed polite, I always had this nagging feeling he was sizing me up. The first crack in our perfect life came when Emily started working late more often. At first, I didn't question it. Deadlines happen, right? But when the late nights turned into weekend strategy meetings, my gut told me something was off. I brought it up once casually, and Emily laughed it off, saying, "You're overthinking, babe. Ryan's married, for God's sake." Fast forward a few months, and Emily started acting distant. The warmth in her eyes that I fell in love with seemed to have been replaced with something cold, calculating. Our conversations felt strained, and she avoided intimacy like it was a chore. One night, she came home, pale and trembling. I thought something terrible had happened, maybe an accident or bad news from her family. But what she said shook me to my core. "I need to tell you something, Jake. I'm pregnant. But it's not yours. It's Ryan's." For a moment, I thought I misheard her. My world came crashing down in an instant. She stood there, tears streaming down her face, begging for forgiveness, claiming it was a mistake and that she still loved me. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. Instead, I got very quiet. "You're leaving tonight," I said flatly. "But Jake, please." "Emily, pack your things and go, we're done." She left, and I was left in an empty house with a shattered heart. But sadness quickly turned to anger, and anger fueled something deeper, a thirst for justice. The revenge. First, I reached out to Ryan's wife, Sophie. I'd met her briefly at a holiday party and remembered she seemed kind and genuine. When I called, I kept it simple. "I think you deserve to know your husband got my wife pregnant." The line went silent for a moment before she whispered, "I knew it." Turns out Sophie had suspected Ryan of cheating for years but never had proof. We decided to team up. Sophie was instrumental in my plan. She provided me with emails, text exchanges, and even photos Ryan had carelessly left on his devices. Armed with this, I went to Emily's workplace HR department anonymously, claiming I had evidence of an inappropriate relationship between a manager and his subordinate. HR took it seriously, as their company had a strict policy against workplace relationships, especially between a boss and an employee. Within weeks, Ryan was under investigation, and the fallout was swift. He was fired, and Emily, who had been angling for a promotion, was demoted and ostracized by her peers. But that wasn't enough. I decided to sell our house, something we'd both poured our savings into. Emily begged me not to, claiming she had nowhere to go, especially with a baby on the way. I didn't care. I sold it, took my share, and left her with nothing but her car and a few belongings. Meanwhile, Sophie filed for divorce, and with the evidence we gathered, she cleaned Ryan out in court. He lost his job, his marriage, and his reputation. Moving on. It's been a year since the whole ordeal. I've moved to a new city, started fresh, and even begun dating again. As for Emily, I heard she moved in with her parents and is raising her child alone. Ryan, last I checked, was working as a consultant, barely making ends meet. Do I feel bad for what I did? Not even a little. Cheating is a choice, and choices have consequences. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: trust your gut, protect your peace, and never let betrayal go unanswered. Thank you for watching Story Voyage. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, there are even more captivating stories waiting for you, so be sure to subscribe and join us for the next unforgettable journey. See you in the next video.